This episode of The Thrill Life was recorded on August 29th, just one day prior to both Six Flags Great Adventure and Great Escapes 2024 announcements.
What's up, guys? It is Coasters and Things here today, and ladies and gentlemen, the Thrill Life is back. We've been away for a while, but Nick and I finally are bringing the Thrill Life back for Series 3.
Just as we promised, we're back. A lot happened in the last 3 months. I graduated high school. I'm now into the workforce. Jason, you're on your last semester of college, right?
Last semester of college, yep.
Yeah, and there's just been so much announced in the last 3 months. And basically, in this episode, we're just going to try to catch you all up on what was announced and kind of what we did over the summer and go from there. So, to start off today's episode, before we jump into all the news, and when I mean all the news, I mean all the news, we're going to try to hit on everything. We're going to talk about the parks that we visited over the summer and some of our most memorable moments. So, Jason, you worked at Dollywood, so you visited Dollywood a number of times, right?
Yeah, I'll count that, but I won't count that as a park visit, so to speak.
Okay, all right.
But besides Dollywood, I went to Carowinds twice. I went once with a couple of the guys I worked with at Dollywood, and then I went once with my friend CJ. Got to give my dude a shout out. Yeah. And then after that, I also went to Six Flags Over Georgia and Fun Spot Atlanta with CJ.
Airy, baby.
And I hung out with my boy Tyler as well at Fun Spot Atlanta, which he's up in New York now.
Oh, wow. Good for him.
He went to Adventureland and Luna Park a few weeks ago.
I'm going to talk about that in just a moment, but I think you might want to mention one other park that you went to.
I'll mention all of them, but I know which one you're talking about. At the end of June and the beginning of July, I went to Virginia. I finally knocked out Busch Gardens Williamsburg. Like, I had been wanting and trying to get to this park for about 5 years now, and I gotta say, this is my new favorite park I've ever been to. It exceeded the high expectations I had for it. It was so great.
Yeah, I mean, as long as I've known you, you've talked about BGW and how much you wanted to go there. So I was hyped for you. I haven't been there in a number of years. I want to say in Series 2, I probably mentioned my park plans at some point. And originally, I was supposed to go to BGW this summer. Unfortunately, I never got out there. Maybe later this year, but we'll kind of just see what happens with my work schedule. And, things can happen. You never know down the line. Would love to ride Pantheon and Dark Coaster because obviously those were not there when I was last there, and re-ride a bunch of the other coasters and other rides that they've added in the last few years. But yeah, man, I'm glad you loved BGW. It really is a good park.
Yeah, and then the day after that, I had to go back to King's Dominion, of course. I had half a day there, but I actually was able to knock out a lot. I finally rode Grizzly, which is a good ride now, I have to say. I never rode it when it was rough, but Smooth Grizzly is fantastic. It's so good.
Yeah, they really did a great job with the retrack. You're right. It looks awesome.
Smooth Grizzly is a top 5 coaster in the park.
Wow, top 5. They have a pretty, I could see it.
I'd probably say number 5, actually. Obviously, I-305 and Twisted Timbers are better. I'd probably put Dominator and Rebel Yell over it, and then Grizzly.
Okay.
Yeah. And I rode Anaconda, which, okay.
That ride is so pointless. I'm sorry. It just is. I don't find anything great in that ride.
I didn't even hate it as much as most people do. However, it's definitely not that redeeming of a roller coaster.
Did you know I like Blue Hawk at Six Flags Over Georgia more than Anaconda? I feel like it provides more forces and it's actually like a better ride.
I can see that, yeah.
I mean, I know it's like crazy, a Vekoma over an Arrow Looper, but like Anaconda really is not that good.
The first half of Anaconda is great. The second half is where it really suffers. It goes so slow.
It crawls through the corkscrews. You think it's going to Valley, and somehow it makes it back to the station. I don't know how it does it.
Yeah. 2 weeks after King's Dominion. Oh, forgot to mention. I did the log flume at King's Dominion for the first time, and that's so good.
Great log flume, right?
So much better than La Scoot at BGW.
Not Escape from Pompeii, though.
Correct. Escape from Pompeii is so good.
Okay, good boy.
But 2 weeks after the Virginia parks, I did Kings Island again, and I gotta say, that was by far the hottest park visit I had of the summer. It was 100 degrees that day at Kings Island. It was so hot. But
there's been some hot days this summer. I don't think any of them I've spent at a park. Well, one day I was at Knoebels was pretty hot, actually. I'll talk about that.
But I gotta applaud Kings Island's crews the day I was there. Orion and Diamondback, those rides were booking it with their dispatches. In fact, they were yelling at us, "Hey, come in, take your seat, buckle your seatbelt, pull your lap bar down as quickly as you can." Blah blah blah. And then when the train came back in the station, they were like, "Exit quickly, exit quickly." They were yelling.
I've heard they have good operations. I heard they have good ones. Yeah,
45-second dispatches every time on the B&Ms.
That's awesome.
That's insane. And I finally rode Beast again. That was honestly the biggest incentive to want to go back to that park again, was because it was killing me that had been so long since I had ridden Beast.
Did it drop in your rankings, or is it about the same?
About the same. I finally rode it in the day. It's good in the day. At night, it's fantastic, though.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Mystic Timbers is still my favorite GCI.
I'm trying to think where I would probably rank it in the park. Maybe just on the cusp of the top 5, like right there.
I have it at number 4.
4. Okay. Yeah.
If you know
I think Mystic Timbers would probably be my favorite coaster there.
If anyone knows me well, they know I do not like Banshee.
Yeah, I mean, I am a big invert guy, but I've heard mostly negative reviews with Banshee.
It's so rattly, rough. I don't understand why.
I feel like the only positive thing I've heard about Banshee is that plaque for Son of Beast outside of it. People like talking about that, but the actual ride, nobody gives any attention to.
Exactly. And the Bat and Invertigo are right next to it. It's sad when a 30-year-old Arrow is smoother than a 9-year-old B&M.
Do you like Banshee or Invertigo more?
I'd probably still take Banshee a little bit over Invertigo, but Invertigo was amazing this time, actually. I hated it when I rode it in 2019. This time it was pretty good, though, not going to lie.
Yeah, I liked Stinger at Dorney. It was fun. I definitely like those inverted boomerangs better than your normal boomerang.
Oh, I definitely did this time as well.
Way more intense.
I'll say, though, for those inverted boomerangs, you have to know how to ride them correctly, because I didn't know how to ride it correctly the first time. I got a lot of head banging. This time I learned from the past. I knew how to ride it correctly, and it was good.
Yeah, there's a trick, but there is a way you can actually enjoy those rides. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Any other parks you went to?
Yeah. The day after Kings Island, I went to Camden Park.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah.
That visit was a little bit unfortunate because I only got in about an hour and 45 minutes worth of ride time before it rained and the park closed.
Yeah, that's always the worst feeling.
On the bright side, they did give me a free 1-day admission ticket. That's good throughout the rest of the season. However, I don't know if I'll get to use it.
Well, how far is it from Kings Island?
2.5 hours.
Okay, that's doable.
But Big Dipper is the main ride there. It actually has a really fun airtime moment if you're in the back.
Mm-hmm. I think I know what you're talking about. I've seen a POV of that. It's been a while, but I know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned it in your vlog too a little bit.
If you couldn't tell, I was a little depressed in that vlog because that park does not have a very good atmosphere. I'm sorry, but it doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't look too nice. It's just one of those one and done. But
it was a park that I was going mainly to get the credits and not have to revisit it again. I didn't even get all the credits. I missed one credit that was closed.
Which one?
Little Dipper.
That's right. Okay.
I'll say though, the haunted house is actually so fun.
Yeah. You said that. There's another. There's a weird ride at this other park I went to this year. I'm not talking about Knoebels. I went on this. It's kind of like a haunted house. I'll talk about it in a bit. Is that all the parks you went to, or do you have one more?
I have 2 more actually.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
But Second to last was the last Hershen park I needed, Wild
Wild
Adventures.
Adventure. Yep. Okay,
Uh,
I remember now.
Main reason I went there was because I was able to get in for free at the time with my Dollywood ID, which was so much better than having to pay $50 for 6 cloned roller coasters.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it was looking like I may not get to ride anything there because it was raining when we got there. Fortunately, it cleared up for a couple hours, and I was able to get all 6 credits. All
Is,
of them are one and dones.
is Cheetah like completely gone now?
Yeah, it's completely gone, sadly, which is
Wish they would have
depressing.
saved that.
I know. And honestly, why couldn't they have just removed another coaster? Like, I would have been fine if they had taken out like the Hanging Bang or the Wild Mouse.
Yeah,
But
I
I'll
don't
say
know.
though, the Wild Mouse is so good there. It goes very fast around the turns. It has the good drops at the end, but it's not painful like some Wild Mouse coasters are.
I'm actually not familiar with their Wild Mouse. What is it? What kind?
Mauer,
It's a Mauer? Okay.
like Dorney's and Six Flags New England's.
Okay, I don't like the one in New England. Gotham City Gauntlet was bad. The one at Dorney's pretty good. So
Mhm.
I would go in with an open mind.
The Boomerang is the best ride there.
You think so?
Those who say the SLC is the best ride there, nah, the Boomerang is still better.
Twisted Typhoon, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, not good?
it's good, but it feels like every other SLC except Great Nor'easter.
Okay. I didn't even feel like Riddler Revenge at New England was that good. And people tend to like that ride, but I didn't even like that one that much. Nor'easter is the one that stands alone, I think.
Yeah. So that was Wild Adventures. The best ride there is not even a roller coaster. The best ride there is the S&S Tower.
You think so?
It's the same model as Shore Shot at Casino Pier, so you get the crazy airtime at the top.
Do you get 2 laps?
No, just one.
Nah.
But you get 2 pops of airtime the 2 times that you go up.
Okay. Cool.
And last up, Holiday World.
Mm-hmm.
I went there with my friend Christian, Coasting the Planet. Subscribe to him. But this, okay, I think we set ourselves up for not having a good day there because we made the grave mistake of getting there at 1 p.m. instead of park opening.
Yeah. When I go to a big park like that, I do try to get there at opening so I can knock out some of the major attractions right when the rope drops. But
We
sometimes it's
waited.
out of your control and you can't get there at park opening. Was that what was going on with you guys? You just couldn't get there at opening?
We didn't think we needed to get there at opening.
Never hesitate. Don't make that mistake. Don't hesitate. Just say, you know what? Go at opening. It's better to go at opening than go too late. Or it's better to get there too early than get there too late.
We decided we would get there a little later and stay till close, as opposed to get there at opening and leave early.
Okay.
That strategy probably backfired on us, though. We only got one ride on everything, sadly.
It was really crowded.
Really crowded, and the operations were not that good this time. The Voyage had a 75-minute line.
Yeah.
We only
Do you
waited.
remember where you got to sit?
Second row.
Okay. Is it more of a front row or back row ride in your opinion?
Back.
Back, yeah. Is that just where you got assigned?
No, we chose to go front because the back had too long of a line.
Yeah. After you wait that long, sometimes you just want to get on. So I get it.
And it was good. I'll say it dropped a spot in my rankings, though.
Yeah, I feel that way about El Toro now. Unfortunately, it's dropped. I don't want to say significantly, but a bit in my
Thunderbird dropped.
rankings.
Thunderbird dropped quite a bit in my rankings as well. That being said, it's still the best wing coaster. It gained a little bit of a rattle though since last time. I'll tell you what shot up in my rankings though: Legend and Raven. Oh my gosh!
Oh, they look so fun, dude.
Both of those rides were so good this time. Legend is insane. Like we were trying. It's so hard to do hands up on the wooden coasters at Holiday World because they're so aggressive.
Like I'm wearing a Knoebel shirt right now, but
I'm wearing a Voyage shirt right now, actually.
okay, yeah. Like people say that Knoebels is like the wooden coaster capital. Nah,
I'd say Holiday World.
I say Holiday World. Yeah, like yes, Phoenix and Twister are great rides, and even Flying Turns you can consider a wooden coaster.
Mm-hmm.
But Nah, I would probably still say Holiday World. Those three alone look superior than anything at Knoebels, probably.
Um, maybe. But in the water park, I finally did Cheetah Chase. Finally.
Okay.
So now
Cool.
I've done all three water coasters in that water park. I'll
Cool.
say it is rather short, but it soaks you. It's like Avalanche at Silky Mountain. It feels like you're in a power wash.
Yeah. That's the
So
one that races, right? The dueling one?
yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, those are the new generation hydro water coasters by ProSlide instead of the hydromagnetic water coasters. So they just use water, and they are soakers. When you go over the hill, the water dumps all over you.
What's it like? 2 years old now?
Yeah, or
Okay.
3 years old. Yeah,
3 years
2020.
old. Yeah, I remember when it was announced. Did it actually open in 2020 or was it pushed
Yeah,
back?
yeah, it opened in 2020. Yeah,
Oh wow.
it
And
was open when I went for Hollywood Nights, but I missed it because when I got to it, the line was already closed off for the day in 2020.
okay. Yeah. I would Holiday World, man. There's like couple parks, major parks I should say, in the US that I really got to get to in the next few years, and Holiday World is up there. Kings Island, Kennywood's been escaping me the past
Hmm.
few years. I
I'll
wouldn't call this
say
a major park, but Waldemere,
Baltimore looks good.
yeah.
I'll say though, the main reason we went to Holiday World we didn't even achieve, and that was to get a night ride on Voyage. When we got to it at 8:30, 30 minutes before the park closed, they had already closed the line off for the night. They closed off 45 minutes before the park closed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they're like, we have to have our employees out of here just after 9.
Oh, okay. All
Oh
right.
man, that
So
kind of sucked.
were
Hmm.
those all the parks you went to?
Yeah, sorry, I know that took a while.
No, you're good. Where do I even start? I wrote everything down here just so I wouldn't forget anything. I'm honestly surprised I got to do as much as I did, considering I worked a ton this summer. But I guess I'll start at the top. I went to, it was like a New York coaster day, I guess if you want to call it that.
Yeah,
I did Adventureland and Luna Park and Dino's Wonder Wheel Park. So Adventureland had 3 credits: Turbulence, which is the mock family spinning coaster. I filmed a POV actually. You can check it out on my YouTube channel. Um, Rattlesnake, which is one of those Zyre Tivoli family coasters. It was pretty good. I'd actually say it's probably better than Harley Quinn.
didn't it used to be a ladybug themed coaster?
Yeah, like a long time ago. It's been the
Yeah.
Rattlesnake for, I want to say, close to 10 years now, but it was Ladybug at one point. You're right.
Okay.
And then Fireball, which was about as stupid as it can get. It literally looks like a wild mouse just like set up
Vertical.
vertically. Yeah, it's, I guess it had a little bit more force than I was expecting, but the capacity on it is horrible, and I don't know. They play that Pitbull song on repeat too, so it's just annoying after a while.
Is it better or worse than the free spins?
Worse. Yeah, worse.
Okay.
Free spins actually are like somewhat forceful and fun. The Fireball model, I honestly can't think of a park that would want to purchase one of those models anytime soon because the capacity on it is just terrible.
Yeah. Is Turbulence good?
Turbulence is fantastic. Way better than I was expecting.
Okay. It looks good for its size.
Yeah, it was awesome. That was like a really nice park. We really didn't spend that much time there because we were doing everything in one day and then driving all the way back to Jersey, or for the other guys I was with, Philly. And then because we just wanted to get to Luna Park and Dino's like as soon as we could. So we were kind of just in Adventureland, in and out. The only other rides we did was this one water ride, which was pretty cool. That like you were on like a platform and then it spun around. It looked like a boat. I think it was like rescue boats, Adventureland rescue boats. I'm not sure. I filmed with my GoPro on that as well. It's kind of hard to describe it, but that was a cool water ride. And then we did Mystery Mansion, which I at one point was like, is this a credit? Because it like runs on roller coaster track.
Is it a dark ride?
It's a dark ride, but
Okay.
it looks like it could be considered a roller coaster. It almost looked like the way the trains were designed, like what is it called at Universal? The Flyers.
Oh, Pteranodon Flyers.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it almost looked like that. I was like, is this a coaster? And then I looked it up online. I tried to find it on RCDB. It didn't exist. And I was like, okay, it's not a coaster.
Yeah.
But that was a pretty cool ride. It wasn't anything crazy, but it was cool for a park of its size. Had a log flume as well. Didn't get to check that out, but I would like to go back to Adventureland at some point. It was a nice little park. Then we go to Luna, or actually we did Dino's when we first got there, and we did Phoenix right away, which is the Vekoma suspended coaster. Yeah,
that's not a hang and bang.
Yeah, that was super cool. It has lap bars, very photogenic, and you can tell that it's a lot newer than everything else at Luna and in that whole area, because everything else around it just looks kind of run down.
Those things are such high quality family coasters.
They are really good. And also, I don't really want to say that actually, because they did just add Tony's Express and the new log flume over at Luna. That whole area looks great. And then Phoenix is fantastic. We did do the Wonder Wheel, so that was cool. It's iconic.
Yeah.
Only did one ride on that, but it's cool to say.
It has the swaying cars, doesn't it?
Yep. Yeah. We did do the swaying cars. It's a little sketchy. It's old, but it's iconic. I didn't get every credit there, actually. I did Steeplechase, Tony's Express, Circus Coaster, Soaring Eagle, which is the Volaire. It actually wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. It was actually, decent.
I've heard that one's not as bad as most of the others because of the restraints.
Yeah, I guess. Maybe Time Warp is more tolerable, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Then I did Thunderbolt. Pretty good ride. Had good airtime, but the lap bars are just bad. They're just really bad. I would argue they're worse than Sky Rush and Impulse's restraints. They were weird.
People complain about that ride being really rough. Is it really rough?
I mean, it's shaky, but it's not horrible. I thought it was tolerable. It had, like I said, it had good airtime. I was surprised, but the restraints were just really bad. And then the last one, my 250th coaster credit, Coney Island Cyclone. I was not expecting that to be as good as it was, because it's had so much work done to it since it was in its so-called heyday, but it was still an awesome ride, because basically, at least this is what my uncle told me, the first half is completely different now, and the second half is basically exactly the same. But I even thought the first half was really good. You can tell when you look at old videos, old POVs, old photos, the drop was a lot steeper than it is now.
Yeah.
Back in the day, but it still had a good pop of airtime. I think it's a top 5 Woody for me, which I was not expecting it to rank that high.
All right,
and definitely worthy of my 250th credit.
Was that the best coaster you rode this summer for the first time?
This summer?
Yeah.
Either that or what I'm about to mention next, Wildcats Revenge at Hershey.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Wildcats Revenge is really good. I don't want to get it twisted, and I don't want people to think I don't like it. But I don't think it's the best RMC. There are some people out there that are saying better than Steel Vengeance and even better than Air Force One, and I think you're nuts if you think that, because I don't think it's even close to that magnitude. But it's better than Wildcat, obviously.
Oh, yeah. Didn't take much to be better than Wildcat.
Yeah, there's just some elements that I feel could have been better, and I don't know. It's just not my favorite RMC layout. Has an awesome first drop. The inversions are very whippy.
Looks like it has really good pacing.
It does have really good pacing, yeah. Just the airtime is not to the other levels like Airy, Steel Vengeance. I would even say Twisted Timbers has better airtime.
Yo, Twisted Timbers was so fantastic when I rewrote it again this summer. That ride is so good.
Really good, yeah. So I don't know where Wildcats Revenge ranks for me for RMCs. Probably I think I've done 7 or 8 now. And it's probably middle of the pack. But as of right now, yeah, I'm gonna say Cyclone's probably my favorite new coaster I rode this summer.
You and Tyler both said that, and I'm like, it's the Cyclone. Everyone loves it. I need to ride it, I guess.
Yeah, it really did blow me away.
Everyone,
Me, Nate, I was there with Jack Coaster John. He had been on it before, but I think he liked it even more the second time around. Nate thought it was awesome, just as good as I did. So yeah, that was a really fun day. Tiring, but really fun day. That whole boardwalk is kind of crappy though, Coney Island, if I'm being
yeah,
completely honest.
doesn't look real good.
Nah, it's not one of those places I need to go to every year. Cyclone's great.
Well, yeah, that's the
Little a
reason.
little
That's the reason to go back.
a little expensive though, if I'm being completely honest.
Hmm.
Um,
Cyclone.
not Maury's expensive, but it's yeah, Maury's is a little ridiculous, but it's up there. And then the last couple things I want to mention here are I went back to Nickelodeon Universe. Shellraiser was actually a little bit better this time around. I still think it's like really rough, but I did it both times in the back, and I can now say the back is better than the front. The front is so painful. I hate it in the front, but the back is actually somewhat tolerable. I still think Sandy's is the best coaster there, though, no question. I also went to Maury's Piers. That was with my uncle. We did Great White. I did Runaway Tram for the first time, so I'm sitting at either 252 or 253 credits now. Um, Great White was awesome. I think it's the best New Jersey boardwalk coaster. I would say Hydrus is a close second, and then Gale Force probably clocks in at number 3.
I'd probably have Hydrus as the best Jersey boardwalk coaster. It's so short, but it's so good.
You like it more than Great White?
Just a smidge, I think. Great White is
Okay.
really good. Great White is the best at Maury's, though.
Yeah, okay. We can agree on that then. I did go back to Knoebels. I had done that in like May before my summer had officially started. So I got the chance to go to Knoebels twice this year, which I was not expecting to do that. That was with my uncle as well. I keep mentioning my uncle. He's actually a coaster enthusiast. Um, I'm hoping to actually have him as a guest. I didn't even talk to you about this yet, but I want to bring him on the podcast because he has some old school coaster memorabilia that he can show off from like old coasters at Wildwood and things of that nature.
Kamikaze.
Um, I
What
think he
was
has,
it? What was it called? It's now Blue Hawk.
yeah, Kamikaze. The flyer from Hunt's Pier. I know he has some memorabilia for that ride.
The
Something
ride,
to do something to do with bubbles as well that he showed me in his house. He could show it all off on the podcast whenever we get him on.
the
But I
ride.
had a great time hanging with him at the parks this
Yeah.
summer. And then last one, or I guess a few more here. Casino Pier. I did go there recently. Dorney and Great Adventure twice. And like I mentioned before, El Toro unfortunately has dropped in my rankings a bit. It's just not quite the same as it was. And, it's had a lot of work done to it. It's fantastic that the park was even able to get the ride back open.
Yeah.
The year we rode it, last summer, it was running fantastic last summer. All right, so that was what we did this summer. And now we're going to dive in to the theme park news. So I want to say it was the second episode of series 2. I forget exactly when it was, but we talked about this and there was, speculation going on about will
Yeah.
Dorney Park get a dive coaster? Will it be a Mock Rides Big Dipper? We didn't know. Now we know it will be Iron Menace, B&M's 18th dive coaster and first in Pennsylvania. So overall, Jason, what are your thoughts on this edition?
It looks solid. It probably wouldn't have been my first pick for what I would have added to Dorney as far as a new roller coaster, but it's Dorney's 8th coaster. It has a height of 160 feet with a 152-foot drop. A drop at 95 degrees. That makes it tied for the steepest drop on a B&M, tied with Dr. Diabolical's Cliffhanger at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas. 4 inversions, including an Immelman zero-G roll, incline loop, the first ever incline loop on a dive coaster, I believe, and corkscrew. That's tied for the most inversions on a dive coaster, tied with Yukon Striker at Canada's Wonderland.
That looks like a great one.
2,169 feet of track, 64 miles an hour, and a 90-second ride duration.
Yeah. I'm very excited for Dorney. I think the PR and marketing team are doing a great job with all the teasers and everything they've been posting on social media over the last couple of months leading up to the big announcement. So shout out to everyone that works in that department over at Dorney. You guys are doing a fantastic job. I like the theming. It's paying homage to the Bethlehem steel mill. And for those of you that aren't familiar with towns in Pennsylvania, Bethlehem is a town over from Allentown, where Dorney's located.
Yeah. Personally, I probably, for a roller coaster, I would have probably gone with a wooden coaster myself, a new wooden coaster, because I think this dive coaster actually would have done better at Valley Fair.
You can argue that. Yeah, you could definitely argue that.
However, it's still great that Dorney is getting a new coaster finally. It's been long enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
when we talked about this before, we both said, I remember this. We were both like, whatever it is, it's better than nothing at all because it has been such a long time. Like the last coaster they added was Stinger, but the last new roller coaster that wasn't like relocated was Hydra in 2005.
Yeah, since then they got Possessed in 2008 and Stinger in 2012, which Stinger's now gone. But Possessed is staying, which I'm so thankful for because that ride is so good.
That was one of those things that, people were going back and forth about. Was Possessed going to bite the dust? Would it
worried about that. I was worried about that.
I was too. Yeah, I was too. I'm glad it's staying though.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway, think about dive coasters that do have a mid-course brake run. Think about when it picks up full speed at the bottom of the first drop, how much momentum and how much speed the trains pick up at the bottom of those drops. And then all momentum dies when it hits the mid-course.
Yeah.
I think Iron Menace is going to blow people away, and I think it's going to be a lot more intense than people are expecting because of the fact that it's not going to have a mid-course.
Yeah, and last thing, what an awesome name. That's a
great
name. Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, the station is going to be super cool. I know one of their haunt houses for this year's haunt actually is going to pay homage to the ride and the steel mill. And yeah, they're really doing a great job with all the theming, and props to Dorney for real. Like I'm stoked for them, and can't wait to ride it next year.
Mm-hmm.
So awesome addition. All right, this next one here is kind of silly, but
I love this.
Yeah, let me just first start by saying, for those that are not watching and listening, we're talking about Good Gravy now at Holiday World. So those of you that saw the announcement video probably, had a good laugh from it. I know I did.
Oh, I love the announcement. Holiday World wins the award for best announcement video this year.
Yeah, so Holiday World really doesn't have a family coaster, and I think a Vekoma family boomerang is exactly what they need.
The only thing I'm worried about really is capacity. Holiday World can get crazy crowds.
That's the only thing that is holding me back. On paper, this is a fantastic fit, but you're right. Vekoma family boomerangs, I feel like were more designed for smaller parks. And obviously Holiday World is not a small park.
Yeah. But
I don't know. Now that you mention that again, it does make me think more. You're right.
That's why when they announced that, I was like, that is one of the best and worst additions that park could add, both at the same time.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
that being said, it's a whole lot better than like a Wild Mouse.
Well, yeah, but like people were speculating for like the longest time on what it was going to be, and majority of people were right. The Vekoma family boomerang. I didn't know for a while. I thought, it was Holiday World. I thought maybe they would add in another wooden coaster. It wouldn't have surprised me.
Yeah, but it's 77 feet tall. That is the far spike, I believe. 37 mile per hour max speed, 722 feet of track. Of course, you traverse that twice. A cost of $10 million, which I thought was pretty high for a family boomerang.
Yeah, a little high. You're right.
and it's the world's largest gravy boat. Maybe.
Yeah, the theme is so fitting, and it'll be in the Thanksgiving area right by Voyage.
Yeah, and it'll reuse Pilgrim's Plunges area and station. Thank you, finally, for doing something with that land.
Yeah, how long has that land been dormant now?
10 years.
Has it been 10 years? That's crazy.
Uh-huh. But what was I gonna say? I had something in mind that was good. Oh, I remember now. One thing that I find really cool about it is it's gonna go through a can of cranberry sauce.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, the theme, I just keep alluding to it, but it really does look that cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's like nothing else, that's for sure.
Yeah, we know we're getting at least 2 family boomerangs in North America next year, maybe 3.
Could be 3. Yeah, the other one is Santa's Village.
You're right, but the one I was alluding to is Nashville Zoo.
That too. Yeah, you're right. All right, so next one here. This was actually announced a week ago as of when we're recording this.
Yeah, this kind of surprised me a little bit.
Yeah, Six Flags Over Georgia will be the first park to add an Intamin Ultra Surf model next year. 144 feet tall, reaching speeds up to 60 miles per hour, and will have 4 interactive water features.
Yeah, this will be the first ever Intamin Ultra Surf. It'll be have a height of 144 feet, 60-mile-an-hour max speed, which will actually make it the second fastest coaster at Six Flags Over Georgia.
And I think it could be a top
Yeah.
3, maybe even top 2 coaster there.
I don't think so. I think that's a bit of a stretch.
I'm high on these. I'm really high on these Ultra Surf models. I think they're going to be
but it'll have
super good.
But it'll have free spinning gondolas on the train, 4 interactive water features, and an airtime moment, supposedly.
Yeah, like in the middle of
Yeah.
the layout.
And no, it is not going to be called Georgia Surfer. I'm sorry, but that is the stupidest rumor that went around a while back.
Or Georgia Soaker.
Oh yeah.
I've been seeing that too.
Although, let's be real, it's probably going to be themed to Aquaman.
Yeah, Aquaman Power Wave is my guess. Although I did see that they're letting guests vote on a name
They
or something.
They are. If it's all DC themed names, though, I'm going to be disappointed in Six Flags Over Georgia.
Yeah, I have a feeling that they're all going to be different DC names, and Aquaman will win.
Here's one thing I have concern for this ride, though, and that is Kid Flash isn't even open yet. It looks like that's going to be 2024. So will this now be 2025?
I remember talking about that in like March, the middle of the last series we did. We were like, maybe it'll be open when we go in April. Still not open.
Still not even built yet.
Yeah, it's disappointing for sure.
Whereas the one at Fiesta is complete and should start testing anytime.
All right. And our last one here, before we mention a few other ones in brief, Wild Moose. It's by Rocky Mountain Construction or RMC.
Yeah.
It's basically them taking their own spin on a classic Wild Mouse. So
yeah,
why don't you kind of give them sort of a background on what I'm talking about here?
Yeah, first off, it'll have the model. It'll have a height of 47 feet, track length of 1,260 feet, 35 miles an hour, and it can go in a pre-existing wild mouse location.
Yeah. So now we need to discuss a few parks that we feel are possibilities for one of these models. One of them comes to my head right off the bat, Six Flags Great Escape. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because they are removing Alpine Bobsled about a week as of when we're recording this. I think it's like September 5th is when it's closing.
I think it's 6 days from now, I think.
Is it 6 days from now?
I think so, yeah. You rode that, didn't you?
Alpine Bobsled? I did, yeah. And I've noticed a lot of enthusiasts have actually gone out to Great Escape in the last month to ride Alpine Bobsled, which is pretty cool. Never thought I would see enthusiasts making their way to that park for the old Intamin Bobsled, but hey, I mean, get the credit before it closed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What I was going to say, though, the layout on it reminds me a lot, actually, of Oscar's Wacky Taxi and Rorosaurus. You know those family gravity groups.
Yeah, actually, when I first saw the concept art, I was like, I had to take like a second look at it. I was like, is this Gravity Group? And then I figured out it was RMC. But yeah, it does show a lot of similarities. You're right.
Yeah, it'll be from the end to end. It'll be 150 feet long and 80 feet wide.
Mm-hmm. Um,
One,
do we know how many trains this can run?
my guess is probably one.
Another ride that's not going to be great for capacity, unfortunately.
But for parks, really, this could go anywhere because this is a total wild card. We've never seen anything like this.
I want to say a boardwalk park could eventually purchase one of these,
Possibly.
but it's also still an RMC, so it's still going to be more expensive than like a Zamperla or a Zyre.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to see Lake Winnie get this in place of where their old Wild Mouse coaster was, but I don't see that happening.
I doubt it. Well, it depends what Lake Winnie's budget is.
Not,
That'll
not,
play a huge role as well.
not very much. And that Wild Mouse plot of land was extremely small.
Yeah, you're right.
They would have to extend on that plot of land, which I measured. They can do it and still have room left over if they want to.
Mm-hmm. Now, as of right now, I'm going to say the only park I can like definitely see adding one of these soon. I mean, we could see more parks add one of these down the line. If one opens, does well, guests like it, then another park may look to add one. But I'm going to say just Great Escape right now because that actually is a good plot of land where Alpine Bobsled sits. It's a lot of space. There's like a go-kart track there too, which if I was Great Escape, I wouldn't hesitate to like remove your go-kart track if you can add another roller coaster. Like you're not really saying goodbye to anything major.
Yeah.
No, cool concept. Another one of those rides where capacity is going to play a role, but I guess we'll have to see. I don't know. All right. And just to wrap things up here, we're going to list a few more smaller announcements, I guess, in brief. So I'll start with one. As of today, when we're recording this, Six Flags St. Louis, they leaked it on their website before it was even announced across social media, actually. They are adding a Zamperla giant discovery called the Joker Carnival of Chaos. These flat rides are fantastic. Let me just start by saying that. No, not RMC Boss. I know that rumor was going around for a little while.
I think that's good that Boss is staying around. I like Boss.
Yeah, no, I hear good things about it. And as much as I love RMC coasters, you still want, old school and GCI wooden roller coasters to still stay around. You don't want everything to be converted to RMCs.
If I'm completely honest, I think Six Flags might be done with RMC conversions.
I'm gonna be honest, in the last couple years, I think the ground up RMCs are better than the conversions.
Yeah. And the last RMCs that Six Flags has added have been Raptors.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if Great Escape gets the Wild Moose model, then they're technically working with RMC again, even though it's a family coaster. But as for Six Flags St. Louis, this is going to be located where Excalibur was, right?
I think. I'm not sure, but that would make sense because Excalibur's gone now. But so is their drop tower. Or actually,
Yeah,
wait.
I'm like somewhat.
No, their drop tower, I think, is where Catwoman Whip is now. I think.
Oh, okay.
I don't.
Yeah,
remember.
I'm like somewhat familiar with the park's layout.
I gotta
I've never been there, obviously, but
I got very lucky to ride Excalibur because that ride was never open, but it was the day I was there.
Nice. So looking at like all the flat rides they have at St. Louis, you think this will be their best flat ride?
Oh yeah. I mean,
Majority of the time, these discoveries are the best flat ride at their park.
Yeah. Either that or the S&S towers.
Like I'd say Great Adventure, I say their best flat ride is Wonder Woman.
Probably, yeah, because Zumanjaro was rather underwhelming.
Yeah, like the view is cool, but the actual ride and the drop should be or feel more intense than it actually is for some
Is
reason.
is Cyborg still there, or is that gone?
Yeah, but I've never seen it have a line. That's gonna go soon, I think. That's another thing that can actually lead us into our next topic. So, Great Adventure recently has been teasing, I would think, for a new attraction for their 50th anniversary, but who knows what it actually is. But there are clues around the park and there's like markings on the concrete. So there's a lot going on at Great Adventure right now. As you can see on the screen right here, if you're watching the podcast, this is what's been posted on Twitter and Instagram recently. So
I know
I guess we'll have to see.
the popular rumors of Vekoma Super Boomerang. There's only one of those in existence right now, and it looks fantastic. I'll,
Um,
I'll go ahead and knock this one out because did not have it written down. I had forgotten about it, but I just remembered it. Probably the lamest announcement of the entire season, if I'm completely honest. Top Thrill 2.
I totally forgot to write that down. That's kind of a major one.
It is, and if I'm completely honest, that's rather lame. The name is so bad.
I'm glad you remembered that because we definitely would have had like a Cedar Point fanboy in the comments
Yeah,
say, "How'd you forget Top Thrill 2?"
I just remembered it.
Yeah, good catch there. Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I mean, I never got the chance to ride Dragster, like OG Dragster. It's crazy. Like I've always called it Dragster. Now I'm gonna have to call it Top Thrill. I know there's some people that used to call it just Top Thrill. I've always referred to it as Dragster. So I don't know.
I rode it one time in the back row. I don't remember much, honestly, from that one ride on it.
You like King the Ka more, right?
Maybe
You don't know?
they're pretty close. They're pretty
Yeah.
close. But
I
I
wish I
think
got to ride it.
I think
That's
it's
disappointing.
I know. I think it'll be cool that it'll have the spike, even though we pretty much knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, like the last episode that we did a couple months back, I remember we were talking about it because we had Boiler Coasters, Ethan on with us, and he took photos when he was at the park, and they were like starting like one of the supports over by Iron Dragon or like
Yeah.
footers, and then that there kind of gave it away that yeah, because that's where the spike's going to be.
Let's talk about the change in theme. It used to be drag racing theme. Now it's Formula One racing.
Yeah, I do like the logo. I'm not sure how I feel about the color scheme yet. It's like kind of cool, but they probably could have done something a little bit better, if you're
Yeah.
asking me.
The trains look cool.
The trains do look cool. It's Zamperla doing the trains as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wonder how the
So,
restraints will be now thinking about like Thunderbolt. Yikes.
oh yeah. Let's head downstate to Kings Island. They're retheming Planet Snoopy to Camp Snoopy, it appears. And with that, they're getting a Vekoma family boomerang called Snoopy's Soapbox Racers. I gotta say, I have mixed feelings about them and Holiday World both getting the same coaster model in the same year.
Because of the capacity, right?
And they're like less than 3 hours away from each other.
Like, yes, again, on paper, they're very good for younger kids, but those two parks get crazy attendance. So I can just see those lines
Kings
out
Island
too.
even more so than Holiday World.
Yeah, no, like I've heard that. Like I worry for guests that are going. Like if I go to Kings Island or Holiday World, I'm riding that first thing in the morning just to knock it out.
Yeah. But sorry, I'm stuttering a lot.
You're good. Hey,
But
it's our first time in a while. We're doing better than I thought we were going to.
But I wouldn't be surprised if this one opens before Good Gravy does, because Kings Island tries generally to get their coasters open on opening day, which is in April for them. Holiday World has confirmed that they're opening Good Gravy in May.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If that is the case, then that would kind of deflate Good Gravy's announcement.
True. Yeah. You said 3 hours away from each other, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
At least they're different layouts. That being said, the one at Kings Island is the basic layout, the most basic layout of all of them.
Right, right.
They're also repainting Flying Ace Aerial Chase finally.
Yeah, that's needed a repaint for like the longest time from what I've heard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just feel that it's more parks are going to add these family boomerangs. I think this is going to just become like a recurring theme. Every year, a different park's going to get one of those. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I could be wrong. But
Mm-hmm.
all right. Few more here, and then we'll wrap up. How
Yeah.
about Silverwood?
Yeah. Silverwood and Idaho, they're getting Eagle Hunt, a pro slide dueling water coaster like Cheetah Chase at Holiday World and like the Edge at Smoky Mountain.
Right. Yeah.
So it'll probably be short, but it'll be a soaker, just like Cheetah Chase is, because it's the new style of water coaster, the hydro blasters, you know.
Yeah. I haven't done one of those yet, or like the dueling ones, but I've done other water coasters, and they're great. Like they're so fun.
Yeah, it'll be going in Boulder Beach. Really nice fit for that park and really good fit for the Pacific Northwest in general. I am fairly confident that the Pacific Northwest does not have a water coaster as of right now.
Yeah, it could be the first one. I don't know much about it, but I just saw the announcement and I knew it was worth mentioning in here. And yeah, let us know in the comments below if you're a water park guy. I'm actually I've always liked water parks. I know they've grown on you in the last year.
I've tried to give them a bit more love than I had given them previously.
Yeah, like
I went to Smoky Mountain again this summer, and I went to Splash Country for the first time this summer. Both are great.
yeah, like a water slide will never be as thrilling as like a roller coaster, but you can like them for what they are.
Mm-hmm. I like them. They're good.
Yeah, they cool you off. They do their job.
And Silverwood as a whole looks great. I just wish it wasn't so far out of the way.
I was actually going to ask you. You never been there, right?
No,
I didn't think so.
That's the most remote major theme park in America out of all of them.
Or Lagoon.
Lagoon's close to a major city, though.
Yeah, but it's not near any other parks.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm. All right. What do we have? Like 3 more here. What else do you have written down?
Next is Silver Dollar City. I
didn't have this one written down. Fire in the Hole, right?
Yeah, I got their new Fire in the Hole, which construction is well underway. This ride is looking good. I gotta say, I applaud Silver Dollar City for this. I really do. It's clear that they want to keep Fire in the Hole's legacy going.
Yeah, RMC.
Yeah, it will be RMC. It'll have the same exact layout as the original Fire in the Hole, same storyline, same name, obviously, but it'll have new updated animatronics as well as onboard audio, which the original Fire in the Hole did not have.
Will this be the first RMC to have onboard audio?
I think so, yeah.
Cool. There'll be new trains, right?
Yeah, new style of trains, but they'll look the same as the original trains.
Okay, so they're trying to keep it the same as much as they can.
Still 2-car, 3-bench lap bar trains.
Okay.
Like the original Fire in the Hole. And it'll have the splashdown at the end. That I was very relieved to find out. I was so disappointed when Blazing Fury had its splashdown removed at Dollywood. So when I rode Fire in the Hole at Silver Dollar City, I was like, oh, this is a throwback to when I was a kid again.
Yeah, Blazing Fury, they took out the splashdown like a while ago, right?
Over 10 years ago, yeah. Because apparently it leaked.
Oh, really? Okay.
Mm-hmm. But this has me wondering, will Blazing Fury have the same thing done to it? I would bet it probably would.
Yeah, probably.
Blazing Fury is in better shape though than Fire in the Hole is as of right now. Fire in the Hole is the original.
Yeah, so it's just it's time that they, renovated it.
I'd say Blazing Fury has probably 3 or 4 more years left before it gets the same thing done to it.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, when I went to the Ace event at Dollywood last year, Fire in the Hole, the new Fire in the Hole had already been talked about at that point. So someone asked Pete Owens, is Blazing Fury going to get the same thing? He was just like, I can't say anything.
That's awesome. Acting all clueless.
Pete Owens, he's like the Tony Clark of Hershend.
Yeah, no, I hear good things about him. I hear he's like pretty good with the guests, interacts with
Mhm.
everybody on
And
social media, just like Tony Park.
yeah, I talked to him about what it takes to like get into the marketing and public relations fields at a theme park because that's what I want to
There you
do.
go.
And he told me about some stuff.
Yeah, there you go. Make your connections.
Hmm.
Um, I'm trying to think. Everything we said so far, or what I had written down, we already mentioned. Sorry. What else do you have?
I got two more written down that we haven't covered yet.
Okay, go ahead.
Second to last for me, I have Adventureland in Iowa. They're doing a refurbishment for their CCI indoor wooden coaster underground.
Not the Adventureland I went to, by the way.
Correct. Yeah.
The
The better Adventureland.
yeah, the probably a better Adventureland park.
Yeah. But
I'll be honest, I know like nothing about this topic. I'm just gonna say it now, so you're gonna have to kind of carry it here.
supposedly the animatronics are getting updated, but the storyline is staying the same, which I heard the animatronics on that ride were really outdated. And actually, underground, it's the only indoor wooden coaster in the world.
Like ever built?
Yeah, it was built in 96, I believe, by CCI.
That's cool, man. The only one.
The only fully indoor wooden coaster, because
Yeah, no,
obviously
I know what you mean. Because like
Lost,
a tunnel doesn't count.
yeah, and Lost Coaster Superstition Mountain goes in and out.
Yeah, fully indoors. The only one at some random park. You would think it would have there have been more. If there was only one, it would be at like a more major park. But
Yeah, and actually, I forgot to mention this. I'm going to go back to Fire in the Hole real quick. I forgot to mention this while we're on the topic of indoor coasters. Fire in the Hole at Silver Dollar City, that is a significant indoor coaster because Fire in the Hole is, Fire in the Hole is the oldest operating indoor coaster in the world
wow,
at Silver Dollar City.
I didn't know that. Cool. Yeah, look at you. Did you just know all this off the top of your head?
I just remembered that actually.
Oh, okay.
I had forgotten about that, but I just remembered it.
I was gonna say, did you like look that up, or is that your prior knowledge?
I remember I had looked that up previously when Silver Dollar City did their announcement. I had forgotten to write that down, but I just remembered it in my head.
There you go.
But yeah, Adventureland refurbishing their indoor wooden coaster underground.
All right, and then last one here.
Last one is Six Flags Fiesta Texas. They are getting 3 new rides. At least 2 of them are going to be Zamperla, it appears.
So not the full Zamperla package like the Island at Pigeon Forge got and like Carowinds, but
correct
2 Zamperla rides. What one of them's the like
one of
Clockworks, right?
Yeah, one of them is the Nebulas. It's going to be called Cyborg Cyber Revolution.
It's okay.
Then the other one, it's like a mini drop tower, kind of. It does kind of like the frog hop down. It's called Shazam Tower of Eternity.
I think this might be the first ride in the Six Flags chain, or maybe anywhere, to have a Shazam theme, and that's not even like a huge movie. Like I don't even think that movie's that popular. But
that's a heck of a name, if I'll say that. And then in addition to those 2 rides, they're getting, it looks like a monorail. It's called Metropolis Transit Authority.
I think that actually looks like the coolest part of this whole new edition. It's super like futuristic, kind of like what Metropolis is supposed to be.
That'll be good because they have a train ride. They don't have a sky ride, I believe. What was I going to say though? Oh yeah, Jeffrey Siebert, love that man. He overhyped these editions though on Instagram, I feel.
Yeah, he does a great job. Another one of those people around the industry that does a great job on social media, interacts with like guests and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, people probably were expecting something better, but you can't always get a big roller coaster. You gotta, yeah.
That being said, you can't be too mad at Fiesta. Keep in mind, you just got a $20 million B&M last year. And then this year, you're getting 2 kiddie coasters and a water park expansion.
Yeah, you have to feed all audiences. You can't just, especially if Six Flags want to get guests of all ages and, try to get families to go rather than just teenagers and thrill seekers. that'll always be their main focus, I feel, Six
Mhm.
Flags. But if they want to advertise themselves as family parks, they have to add these, modern family rides.
Fiesta is still better run than 90 to 95% of most other parks.
It looks like the best Six Flags park to me. Magic Mountain, maybe coaster wise, I would say is up there. But in terms of how the park is run, atmosphere, like every other category, Fiesta Texas.
Yeah, I would say Fiesta is my favorite Six Flags park. Yeah.
I think mine might honestly be over Georgia just because it was like new and refreshing for me because I've done everything at Great Adventure so much. I'll still always like Great Adventure, but I can't say it's like my favorite park anymore.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot about it that could just be so much better.
Yeah, that's the last park announcement that I had. Did you have anything more?
Nah, we covered everything that I had written down.
Yeah.
All right. So for our first episode in a while, we covered a lot today.
Yeah, we have. It's been a crazy few months. Baseball season's well underway. Football season's about to start. Victor Hovland is the FedEx Cup champion, and there's a lot to look forward to in the theme park industry. It is a good time to be alive right now.
There you go, man. Yeah, so for those of you that are new here, thanks for watching. Be sure to give us a like and subscribe and comment your thoughts on all these park editions down below, and also let us know what you did this summer, or at least in around the theme parks this year, what parks you got to go to. So,
yeah. Let us know what your favorite park is as well, because I have a new favorite park now. It's Busch Gardens Williamsburg.
I think mine's still Universal, but I change it all the time. When I was at Knoebels, I was like, I forgot how great this place is. This might be my favorite park. And then my mom's like, Nick, Universal. I'm like, okay, you brought me back to earth. Oh, man. All right. Well, Jason, always a good time with you, brother. And sign us out.
Yeah, so thank you all so much for watching. It's great to be back here on The Thrill Life. And this is Coasters and Things and
Beyond the Thrills.
Both signing out. See y'all later.